Hi, everybody. This is Mike Gormley. Funny enough, it's called The Mike Gormley Show. And we have VICKI Peterson of the Bangles and a multitude of other bands uh, and great stories. Hi, VICKI. Welcome back.
Hi, thanks. Thanks,
Uh,
Mike.
we're coming back out of that commercial, and there was a song playing called "Bitchin' Summer."
Yeah, I
So
thought it
that
was
goes way back.
appropriate.
That's pre-Bangles, isn't it?
This is Bangs. This is a Bangs area. Matter of fact, the intro of it is "Ladies and gentlemen, the Bangs," and which we then used or slightly altered and used it for an album title of Rarities, and that's where "Bitchin' Summer" ended up. But we used it. We recorded it early. Matter of fact, some of it was recorded in my brother's bedroom. It features a Slinky solo by me in the instrumental. It's the one and only instrumental we ever made.
Oh, really?
Other than there's some background harmonies in the bridge, but yeah, it's a surf instrumental. Who knew?
It's still alive. You just heard it. It's on the
There
radio.
you go.
Some things just won't go away. Hey,
Bringing them back.
before we went out to commercial, you mentioned a fellow named David Kahne, who was a producer on two of the biggest albums. And he's a friend. I always like him, but was he a taskmaster? What was going on in the studio that made studio a little less fun than it could have been?
Yeah, studio was not fun. Studio was less fun, absolutely. And I think some of it, looking back on it now and seeing what pressures he was under. He was a staff producer. He was being given this project, like, take this band. We're not sure what to do with them. Make it great. Give me hits, and we didn't have a lot of studio experience at that point. We're pretty green. But he didn't make it easy. I don't think I ever felt that he thought we were anything other than mediocre, except for singing. And he said, you guys have a sound when you sing together, and you should never go and sing background on anyone else's records. Don't give it away. Keep that for yourself, which I thought was interesting, even though we ignored that advice when Tom Petty came calling, and we did go and sing with him, and also Cyndi Lauper. We sang with her too.
And you sang with Brian Wilson, if you remember.
We definitely sang with Brian Wilson. We made wise choices in our spreading of our vocals. But yeah, he was not certainly not warm and cuddly in the studio, although he's funny, and because he's brilliant. He was a funny guy, but he made it. Yeah, it was not. We weren't there to have a good time, obviously.
Yeah.
and unfortunately, I think he used the sort of divide and conquer methodology a bit, and which was not healthy or helpful for the band. We weren't the only ones. I've talked to people, multiple artists I run across who have worked with David, and I call them, con survivors. And, it's like, we're going to get t-shirts. I survived David Kahne. But he also obviously, made some brilliant records.
Yeah.
And, he has to get credit for that.
It's tough to argue with his career, not only Bangles, but a lot of stuff afterwards. So
absolutely,
he was doing something right, and I don't know what the other people thought, but I know that maybe I was a bit guilty. Well, I'm a bit guilty of wanting him to do the second album because I didn't think the project was complete.
Yes,
I know what you're saying. To go to another producer, I thought might wreck things, right or wrong. That's what I was thinking at the time. So maybe a lot of it's my fault. I don't know.
Well, no, it's interesting. I mean, the second album, ended up doing well. We got some great covers to record, as it turns out. We didn't have a lot of time to write, and that was, that was something I regretted. I wanted to have more. To be able to develop more material myself.
Well, that's a common complaint is you have a lifetime to write your first album, and you have a month to write your second album.
6 weeks to write the second one. Yeah, exactly. Right. Unless you're like Prince and can write on the road, which did not work for me.
No.
At all. Yeah.
No, touring stopped the writing process.
No, there's too much else going on. You're focused on, you're trying to focus on giving the best show you possibly can that night. And you're not, I don't, for me, it didn't work out that well. It has in subsequent bands, but not in Bangle World. No.
Yeah. Well, overall, I think David's a very talented guy and a good guy,
Yeah.
but he had his method. So, and
He
like we said, it worked. So,
And he did that first. Actually, I just got an email from somebody I'm working with on a totally different project, and he said that our album All Over the Place changed his life. I mean, and that was our first album, and that was the one that still sounds like the band to me.
Hero Takes a Fall.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes the first song is so good it introduces you, but doesn't get the accolades it should get. And that was a song that I should have been #1 in my humble opinion.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that record should have done more than it did. Although, yeah, I'll hail to college radio because they did a lot for us.
Well, college radio was the thing that kept I don't even know if not even sure if you know this, but the Bangles at Columbia Records, particularly in New York, got to be known as the band that wouldn't go away.
I like that.
Because you kept selling a couple of thousand a week without a hit, and they couldn't drop you because there was something going on.
At least there's a little trickle going.
And nobody came to see, not nobody, the college people did, but the big shots didn't come and see the band until you played Radio City Music Hall with.
Oh my gosh. Do you remember what happened that night?
Oh, I remember, but I remember you saving the situation.
Oh my gosh.
And very quickly, the headline act we won't mention, supposedly somebody messed with the sound, and when the Bangles went on, here we are taking 2 years to get the president and everybody of Columbia Records there, and they're at Radio City Music Hall, which is across the street from Columbia. They couldn't get out of it, and you're playing away, and you can't describe what the sound was like, and you could feel in the house. You could feel people going, "Oh, they can't play." You know what I mean? They were kind of giving up on it. And then, fortunately, I got the word to one of the crew, and the crew got to you, and you said the greatest thing. You said, "So, I hear we've been doing an acoustic set," and you could feel right away they were on your side. They went, "Oh, it's not their fault. There's something going wrong." And then you played, and it was a triumph.
Now we're gonna rock. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a triumphant night. I don't know if that's the way it looked to you. That's my story. That's what I would.
No, that's absolutely it. I mean, we didn't know. We started playing, and it just felt like, wow, this is a really dry room. I guess it's an old theater. Maybe it didn't sound. Normally, you can hear the house sound coming back at you on the stage, and it has a very sort of resonant feeling. And there was none of that, and all we could hear was our own amps and our monitors. And unbeknownst to us, what you were hearing in the house was just what was coming off of the stage, and no vocals and nothing, because all the inputs had been unplugged.
Yeah, it was insanity.
Ruthless.
And ruthless. It couldn't have been an accident. It was somebody who was messing with the sound.
It was sabotage for sure.
Yeah. And but you know what? You turned it around, and it became a trend. In fact, there was a big party afterwards, and we went to the party, and the president of Columbia Records came up to me and said, "We're going to shove this record up radio's ass."
Yeah, baby.
They didn't.
No,
not that record. The next one. The next one. Yeah. So, but it changed everything. And despite the problems, I thought that was a great line. I thought you saved the whole evening that time. Wow. And then the sound was right, and the band played, and everybody loved you. So
it sounded okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Things work out sometimes.
Thank God.
But you didn't play Bitchin' Summer. I don't understand.
No, I don't think we did. That night. We rarely played that live.
Yeah. Early days only. Well, I just, I'm wondering, you're working with your husband, John Cowsill, and that it's John and Vicky. There's no name in it.
It is. It's actually getting top billing this time. It's Vicky Peterson and John Cowsill.
Oh, good for you.
Brilliantly named. Yes. Very clever. Very original. Yeah.
what's coming up with that duo?
We are negotiating with a label right now, and we have a beautiful record that we finished a little while ago. And right now it's scheduled to come out early 2025, and it's called Long After the Fire. And it is it's sort of a love letter to two of John's brothers who are deceased, but who were both brilliant songwriters and artists in their own right. And it was Bill Cowsill, the oldest Cowsill, and Barry Cowsill, who's the next oldest to John. And just incredible writers. So it's just it was a way of us being able to sort of shine a light on songs that you may not ever hear otherwise, even though some of them were recorded by Bill. One or two were recorded by Barry, but on records that are not available anymore. And it's something we talked about doing for years and years and years, and we finally got around to doing it. And John's been touring with the Beach Boys as a drummer for the last 23 years, and he finally got off the road, and we're able to perform together, and it's been just a blast. I mean, it's hilarious. We're sort of like we're half comedy, half music on stage, because we just take the piss out of each other all the time, and things happen. Like our last performance, John was holding the harmonica holder. He's supposed to do a solo in the middle of one of the songs, and I'm glancing over and I'm looking. There's no harmonica in the harmonica holder. I don't know how the solo is going to go. I'm just looking and I'm going, wow, okay. So things happen.
Yeah, things happen. Harmonica's missing sometimes.
Yes, sometimes. It was a theoretical harmonica solo.
We've got very little time left.
Yeah.
It goes by fast,
I know, it's just fun. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, it's wonderful to have you here. I'm not sure what song we're going to play on the way out, so I can't introduce it. But
okay.
But I'll bet you're involved in some way.
It's either something that is close to my heart, or something that I performed and hopefully still close to my heart. So yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a nice combination. The songs you write, I hope, are close to your heart.
I would hope so.
Oh, generally I just found out. It's like, you know what? It must be close to your heart. It's a Cowsill song.
It is a Cowsill song. Yeah.
It's for our baby.
Let's hear some harmonies.
Oh, all right. Cool. Well, look, thanks, Vic, so much for coming here. It's been a long time since we chatted, and happy to have you back anytime, or when you get back to LA, we'll have a lunch or whatever.
Absolutely. Let's do that.
And we'll actually be back in a minute. We're going to listen to Poor Baby for the way out, and then we'll be back in a few minutes to round it up.
Say goodbye to the folks.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So it's Mike Gormley Show and Vicki Peterson as guest.